Well, you can come down and play for
I
Rockport.
think the oldest ones that are there is me. My bookkeeper's been there 2
What's the
years,
Rockport thing doing? They
my
started out
chief
like
has been
a
there
house
4
fire.
Well,
years,
and they had this.
and then another one's
game.
been there 3 years, and then the rest have all
They
been within the
restored
last
their
year.
direction in the fourth quarter.
Mhm.
And just
So it's just
oops, threw an air ball and got rid
training and everybody on the right page. I think we're doing good though, and still working out kinks. We're getting there.
Found out that the
We'll get
local
there.
administrative judge moving forward makes all the appointments for the ARB. So it's not even a function at all.
Yep, y'all are live, by the way.
Yep. Thank you.
Wait, say that again?
I'll tell you under the thing, but I found out. It's a
That's
recent law.
That's a very recent change in the law.
It was just done, effective September.
Do you have time for a quick question from Josie?
Well,
Who's that, Bianca?
On the taxes.
Judge
I
Walker.
don't know.
seems pretty much okay. Travis is not here. I assume he's planning to be.
You didn't indicate one way or another. You want us.
Travis is on time.
Just in time, yeah, just in time inventory.
What they call it in county,
Yeah.
just
So,
in time.
Just or just?
I'll give it a minute before.
Yeah, let's give it a couple of minutes. But we have to get started, get this done.
Do we have a quorum of three?
Yeah, we've got a quorum.
Actually, you have a quorum because shouldn't have asked for a question, but
Anna?
with Anna, you do have a quorum. She said real quick, right?
Yeah, it's here.
Real?
We'll at least wait for Anna to get back.
Here he is, look here.
Whoa!
Said you
Boy, oh,
called
boy.
Don't let him talk. Don't let him talk to you like that, Trav. Don't let him talk to you like that.
Perfect timing.
Recommend that either.
Perfect timing. We won't be there. I note it's 2:00. I note the presence of the quorum. Let's bring the meeting to order. Item 1, or item 2, rather, consideration and action on the minutes of the September 15th meeting. I'll entertain a motion at any time.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Further discussion of the minutes?
Just one thing, this ought to go out as one of the documents that we get a copy of. So we can come in here and just go boom, minutes. Because I can't read it till we sit down here, we just start off with.
Got it. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Val, do you want to get Anna, please?
Yeah, she's coming.
All in favor, approve the minutes, aye.
Aye.
All right. That down the valve down there, so I don't run off with it.
Thank you.
Well.
Item 3, citizens to be heard. I see none in the room or any hooked up remotely.
No.
Okay. We'll move on to item 4, consideration and possible action regarding Dykema Architects contract. Okay. Here again, did you all get an advanced copy of this?
It was today. I sent out an email today with this.
I'll let Mike.
I'll check my
this.
emails at 1 o'clock.
It was sent, yeah,
Okay, I'm not saying you didn't.
It was from Beth.
Beth, yeah.
Okay. Couple of quick comments from me, and I'll let Mike follow up. I've been through this thing a couple or 3 times. Brink has too. As I mentioned, Mike and Brink and I met yesterday afternoon and went back through it. And we think this thing is ready to go. I think the operative, and it has been looked at by the district's attorney and by Chapman.
Yeah, Chapman is the representative that overlooked the contracts for the bid for the
Yeah.
roof before.
Yeah,
And so he
he's-
looked this over and did some work on it.
He kind of has the expertise in public entity contracting. And he made a couple of modest changes. key parts of this thing are Article 1 and Article 2, which is what happens during the design phase and the construction phase. And basically, during the design phase, we, the owner, might have to give them a scope of work, which I think has largely been done. This may not include the placement of every plug on every wall, but a lot of substance has been taken care of. Based on those approved project requirements, the architect will start a design. He'll do that when this thing gets signed. He may have been doing some of it already, I think, but we need to get this thing signed. Upon the owner's approval of design, the architect prepares construction documents, including requirements for the project, shall coordinate its services with any consulting services the owner provides. Architect will assist the owner in filing documents required for approval of governmental authorities. As far as I know, we don't have to get any permits from the city or anything. And I may be missing something, but I think if it is, it's probably modest.
Is this going to be ADA compliant?
Yeah.
Then I'd be surprised if you don't have to get it, if only for that.
Probably will, but the architect will help us with all that. Yeah, the key part to me is during the construction phase, the architect shall act as the owner's representative, provide administration of contract between owner and contractor. Architect services during construction include interpreting contract documents, reviewing contractor submittals, visiting the site, reviewing and certifying payments, and rejecting non-conforming work, which is something that makes us smile because it takes a lot of that, off of Mike's desk, and he doesn't have to worry about it. The owner's responsibilities is to make timely decisions, which I think we're pretty capable of doing. Our Chapman did make some changes to Article 3, which specifies that we're going to get copies, both paper and digital, of pretty much everything the architect does. And it's for our own use, so we can't use it for anything outside. I can't imagine why we need to think about that. You got something to add on that, Mike?
Yeah, just that, that the contract as it sits with you was changed very little by Chapman. It typically has some legalese and some boilerplate. It has to do with, there was some stuff that was added for payments and the timeliness of those payments and the interest that would be accrued if those payments were not made timely. As far as the permit is concerned, the way it was indicated to me is that the permits will be procured by the builder themselves, and that will be delineated in the bid package. Like, that's one of the requirements. So, and that will be ADA compliant and all that. So this contract is just a contract with the architectural services, the management. As it's indicated, there's design services, there's construction documents, which are the documents that are provided or built for the bid. And then there's the bidding, which is actually the bid package, and to make sure that all of the elements are there for a successful bidder. And then the construction observation, they're gonna oversee the project, basically. So this contract right here is just with Dyco by itself. It doesn't, we're not even to the bid process yet, so.
Well, let's see if I can paraphrase what I thought I heard. The building permits and other related items are the responsibility of the contract.
That is correct.
Okay, so to whom do we look to if the builder doesn't get it? Are we supposed to look over the builder's shoulder to make sure he does, or is the architect?
The architect has the construction observation. That's what he has. He has oversight of here.
That's the way I would interpret it.
Okay. I just think back to the hurricane, how many contractors did work without getting permits and the like.
Yeah, I'm gonna be asking for the permit. I'm gonna be asking for the permit. Where's your permit?
Well,
You
they're
know,
supposed to put it on the door,
they are.
and most builders are the ones required to get it.
Yeah.
But I understand we had fly by night
You
contractors
did,
in here.
and you
bad.
also had some where they just didn't understand windstorm codes and the like, but ADA does bring in a
Yeah.
new level. They can
Yeah,
keep
for
you-
sure.
We can follow up with that through the architect. I don't know that there's any, the architect is responsible for electrical, mechanical, and interior design. If there's any consulting services needed there, the architect does that. I don't know that there's any other consulting services we're gonna need other than possibly a hazmat study. Because the architect says flat out in the contract, we ain't responsible for that. And I think it's pretty unlikely that there's,
Well, we did have an industrial hygiene report that came clean after their cleaning up of it. So,
yeah,
so there's no,
and
I mean, we can get, we've had, I want to say we have an old asbestos survey that Synergy was able to give to ServPro. And then ServPro was able to get an industrial hygienist out to give us a clean bill of health after the remediation portion of it.
Which title company did you close with on purchasing?
Don't remember.
It would, there'd be a significant amount of environmental related disclosures in that closing set of documents.
Again-
my thought is that when we sit down with Ackerman, we'll talk about that, and we have to get somebody to look at that. That'll be on our ticket. Clear about that. But if the board approves, form of a resolution here, but I'd like to sign this thing this afternoon. Lock it off.
You need one of
So
each
moved.
wall.
Who seconded? Okay. Further discussion, Travis?
No, sir. Yes, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll sign it.
On that note, I did have a conversation with John earlier today, indicating that we were having a board meeting. They, like I've indicated in the past, they were working in good faith. We had a representative out from their office out last Monday, who was continuing, taking measurement, doing drawings, doing the mock, like doing the drawing of kind of what we wanted. We sat down for a little while and looked at some changes already. And so he was encouraged by today's board meeting. So,
Okay, that deed is done. Put this valve around there, and so I don't take it home. Okay, that concludes item 4. Item 5, consideration of possible action regarding lease from Texas State Modular. That's the trailer house folks. There is a copy of this thing, which is voluminous. I've actually read most of it. And I didn't see problems in there. But, you can,
yeah, Texas State Modular is the office building that we're in right now. You can remember that Synergy indicated early on that there would be a time associated with what they would pay for this place, because there's a requisite amount of time that would have been congruent with the work that they would have done with the flood event. We have elected, or this board has chosen to move forward with the further construction contract. Basically, let's get all the stuff we need to get done. Having said that, that's gonna give us more time that we need to be in this building. This lease is a month-to-month lease that we can engage with the actual owner of this modular building that we're in right now. And that's
technically, we're committed to 5 months.
From what day?
1st of October, is that right?
yeah,
They're clear about that. And that's I thought we were gonna get done really fast, and I got a little concerned about that. I don't think we're gonna get done a whole lot faster than that.
these people,
Martyrs Point for that matter.
Texas State Modular indicated they were flexible. We kind of gave them we think it's February 1, it could be as late as March 1
Yeah.
kind of thing. And they said, yeah, you can keep it. The great thing about having this is, and we've talked about this in the past, this is just a monthly part. The MOB and demob cost was a insurance cost. That was tied to that flood event. So that's already been handled. So this is just a month to month. We've looked it over. The only thing that I needed to get was some insurance for this building to make sure that I had coverage. And I talked to TML. I've got that rider. So
5 months is actually October 1st, to February 28th.
there you go. Yeah.
It says February 28th, 2021. I think.
Okay.
It's meant 2022. Yeah.
Yeah, but that will get straightened out. Bunch of other technical verbatim in there that I don't think it's a problem. MOB and demob costs are included in the road. So, unless we jack them around when they come to take it down, weigh them, then they're gonna be after us for some extras. It's what is like 3,800 change a month,
It's 3788.
3788. Yeah.
And it's really just for the triple wide and the 88 decks or the handicap ramp.
So in bottom line, we don't have a choice.
It could be a little rough sitting out in the parking lot in January.
It may feel good
No,
over
these-
this summer.
These folks are tough.
We may find that just out there.
Yeah.
No, I think we ought to sign this and get on with it, and if we're motion to that effect, I'll do it.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Okay, further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Val, is there a copy of that contract for me to sign?
I didn't get one, but I believe there's one we could print out.
Yeah, right.
Is that one there?
Well, it's the same one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just- Okay.
And it's
I
It has
scratched
Mike Soto,
on
but
mine,
you
which
could-
I tend to do, think with my pencil.
you can definitely do it at the end. You can strike through it and put your name in there.
Right.
Mhm.
Oh, you got, well, you might,
I can do
for you to sign, okay.
Yeah,
So, okay, you sign it,
I will. I've got one right here.
all right. And that will take care of that. We'll have a nice cozy place inside for all the good folks. That's 5 months, maybe 6 months. And after 4.5 years, we may be about to put a string on this.
Yeah, it's
Be careful.
it's really nice. Don't jinx it,
That's
right?
right.
Uh,
Don't poke the devil.
Moving on to item 6, the chief appraiser's report.
In the chief appraiser's report, the very first thing that you'll see is well, I'm gonna get to the personnel update in just a moment. Let me just go through the supplemental role presentation. It's one of the things that you have. The summary of certified role changes, you have a copy of it here, you have one on your Kindle. And, Now I have this right here. And so you can see that the certified role changes. This is the same document that you always see that you're just informed of, but you really don't have any say in. Supplemental group 368 has a summation there at the end. There's a net $7.1 million loss. You can see the majority of that has to be with a line item where it says 4.9 million, and it has to do with district settlements. That has to do with settlements, basically, that would have happened subsequent to certification. There's ARB decisions that were ongoing since the last time that we talked. The next group you can see are just minor, it's just joint motions and a homestead cap. Group 370, there was nothing there, just a refreeze calculation. 371, you can see that there's like $94,000 worth of change. Most of it had to do with UDI cap loss and double assessment of the property.
I would assume you would not consider the size of these unusual.
No. Okay. No, like I said, the district settlements, Sometimes we'll have 1.11E. Those are lawsuits, 1.11E.
That's the settlements.
The actual settlement waivers, yeah. So sometimes people will come in and we agree with them. They point out something in error that we have. And then the ARB decisions, we don't, I mean, that's what people are, they come in and protest and we don't really have any control of how they rule.
Does district settlements encompass lawsuit and actually your ARBs are a separate line item on that.
Yeah.
So the district settlements are lawsuits plus anybody that came in and didn't go to the ARB,
No.
y'all.
It's
So-
just settlements.
Settlements by who?
By us.
Just the district?
Yeah.
Not inclusive of lawsuits.
Not inclusive. of
Okay, so if there's a change of value in a lawsuit, that's somewhere different. This is just people came in, didn't go to the ARB because that's a separate line item, but y'all were able to settle with them
Yeah, this
without.
is summary. Yeah, this is
Okay.
a homestead cap and productivity value settlement.
Where do lawsuits go?
Lawsuits are under, we
Are they-
don't have any this time here.
Okay.
We don't have, in a previous one, we might have had a summary that included them. We just don't have any here. There's only 4 or 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5, 6. There's only 6 here. So,
Right.
I mean, it just depends on the time from the last time y'all met. So
These are only the changes.
these are the only changes.
Got it.
All right. The next thing that we have is the personnel update. You'll remember that that I brought to your attention, maybe last board meeting and maybe the meeting before that, that we have a team member that is retiring at the end of the year. We do have we'd like to be able to start advertising for that role. And we had one board member that's not present with us today, but he indicated that he was, start one ends, one starts. I'm of the opinion that I would like to have that new person in at least a month before that time to get some kind of a semblance of, hey, this is how you do, like, these are where the homesteads are, this is where these files are. You don't have to, but I would like that. I want to have some guidance from this board on what I have some leeway to do in that realm. Because I want to start advertising. I'm going to advertise anyway. I want to advertise to start the position December 1 rather than January.
Is there any chance that the position could find somebody that has experience?
Yeah, very possibly has experience in you mean just that already has experience in a CAD?
In a CAD?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know until I.
Well, the reason I asked that question is if you happen to find somebody that under ordinary circumstances didn't require a month on the job, then you could.
Then I could do it January 1.
But if you didn't, and you therefore needed some, training from one person to the next, I would easily go for the necessary training.
Right.
This is not someone you want to turn them loose and realize 30, 60 days later, you don't have what you need.
Right.
I would have to say with us doing a lot of training here in the last couple of years, even with experience in the field, every office does things totally different. Every CAD office does things different. Every tax office does things different. I had one come in from San Patricio County. She'd been there 5 years. We had still trained like she was brand new because there's so many different ways of doing different computer systems. That's the hardest part to train.
Software, yeah.
The software, everybody has different software.
Fair enough.
And that's the hardest part. And Donna does a lot for my office. And she does. She does a lot of the stuff she does.
You don't want us to start somebody.
I don't want, no, I'm gonna back him up saying he needs somebody in here to train for a while.
Yeah.
Because she does do a lot of stuff for our office that needs to be done accurately. Yes, and to hire somebody January 1st to just throw them in there and try to train them. For one, your other staff members in here don't have the time.
They're picking up slack.
Yeah.
Okay, understood.
Makes
So-
sense to me.
So I'm saying December 1, I'd like to have the starting date. If that's okay with this board, then I would just start the posting and then a start date of December 1st.
I have no problem with
You
that.
may not, that may not be enough. First of all, you may find the person you want before December 1st. So I'd say you ought to ask for 2 months.
You need to advertise before your start date. at least a month.
Yeah, at least a month.
At least a month you
So
need to advertise.
We're at the beginning of October. It's good that we're having this conversation now, so I can put something in the paper by next week.
Cause
and
they're
then-
gonna need to
and then
get
if-
2 weeks notice, they're gonna need to do the paperwork, they're gonna need to do whatever you need to do.
If you let me have, 6 weeks or 2 months, then I'll take it.
That would be my suggestion.
So I'm hearing an affirmative for my discretion. Is that, can you verbalize that, please? Somebody?
Yeah, you need a motion,
No, I don't need I just need it just said.
discretion up to 2 months, yeah.
Okay, sounds great.
I say, I mean, everybody can disagree, but I'm with Larry
Right, right,
100%
that's
that
You have to have a miracle situation for not needing. So
that's,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, and you get somebody that's got experience, it's still, you gotta get into the, yeah.
Odds are against that, but it could happen.
Would be
Yeah,
nice, at
2
least
months.
they have a general vicinity of what's going on, that does help. But
Yeah.
the odds of finding somebody is kind of slim to none in this area.
No, that's great, use your discretion.
Okay, thank you. Financials, we don't really have any substantive financials to report from the last meeting. It was a short time ago. I don't have a financial presentation for you right now. And we did talk about the building remodeling update, as it relates to the contract. Again, I'll reaffirm that I had a good conversation with John Dykema, just this morning. And to just tell this board, he was working in good faith. Sent a representative out last week, was working on the sketch, took measurements, had conversations, marked up the sketch the way, we wanted this to flow. And so they're working on stuff right now, as we speak. So it's good.
very good.
We talked a little bit about the scope of work because he alluded to that. And they have the majority of the scope of work. We talked about once they had the next sketch for us, that I would have a conversation both with Dee and Brink to kind of, because like he said, you don't need to know where every outlet needs to go. We don't need a board decision. We just need to continue to move. Once we have that, and we have a culmination of documents, we put the bid package together and we wait the requisite amount of time. We do the notices in the paper. We send the notices out the same kind of way that we did when we had the roof package put together. And then we open up the sealed bids on a certain date, we give proper notice, and then we get to actually doing the work. So,
I think something to be worth thinking about, Mike, is weekly, bi-weekly, we'll status update to the board. Not for decisions. This is just, this week we do this, and this. We didn't do that. We'll do it next week.
every 10 days, every 2 weeks.
Yeah, every couple of weeks.
Sounds
Or as progress dictates.
good. Sounds
Some
great.
weeks, there'll be more progress than there are other weeks. That'll help all of us to keep on. Then if somebody's got a question, they can raise it. If we need to have a meeting, we'll have a meeting.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we're not gonna have to have meetings about before we put it in like.
Yeah, I like the, we've just completed this step and we're about to start this step.
Yeah.
I'll send out a blast email and just kind of let
You
everybody.
can do
know.
that sort of a little standard format of some kind, you figure it out. I think that'll be useful.
Okay,
Excellent.
sounds great.
Okay,
That's all I have.
we are adjourned.
I want to make a motion to adjourn.
Nope.
No,
I will not do the motion to adjourn.
We're just back
Just
to
ask
that.
Jack.
You moved past
That's
that.
done.